Hi guys. Today, I'd like to talk about this guy. He's not old. He's a 70-year-old guy, and this guy's living in the Philippines. I saw a video of this guy, and I thought it's really interesting. And he was like a real playboy. He's 70 years of age, and he's got like seven or eight girlfriends. Girls on the go from like 23 to 45 or whatever. Um, and he was really jolly, really, really jolly, really happy. Obviously, he's got all those young women, and yeah, as I was watching the video, I thought this guy, you'll have people on both sides. On one side, oh, what a creep, and on the other side, he's my hero. you know. So anyway, it's just so interesting. This guy's name is Peter, and as I said, he had about had about eight or has eight girlfriends, and he had two main girlfriends, the women that he loves, and he had to choose between one of these two women, and I think he chose one lady, but people in the comment section were saying like she's gonna tie you down, she's gonna want more and more and more and want you to settle down. And yeah, just see the video that I made about it, my commentary, and let me know what you think. Okay, so see you in a bit. Watch the video now. Bye. All right, so imagine this. There's this guy named Peter. Peter's someone we'd probably all look at and say, wow, he's got it together. He's got everything you might want. Confidence, lovely girlfriends, a smile that could light up a room. He looks like he's living the dream, right? Let me explain. He was living in the Philippines and felt like a millionaire with 6 to 8 girlfriends at the age of 70 and seemed to be living it up. As they say, he would say that these girls would introduce him to their girlfriends and they would share him, and they weren't jealous. But if you dig just a little deeper, you'll find that things are not always as perfect as they seem. Peter made some choices that over time ended up weighing him down, and honestly, it's a cautionary tale for anyone. I'm going to tell you how one man who seemed to have everything under control ended up looking completely lost and broken, all because of a woman, fear, and some pretty serious life decisions. Now let's go back to the beginning. Peter was the guy that people admired. You know the type. He's the one who's always smiling, cracking jokes, looking like he's got his life all figured out. If you met him, you can feel the energy. He's got that spark in his eyes, the kind of guy you'd want to hang out with. His body language says it all. He stands tall. He's got this confidence that just radiates. He looks like he could take on anything, like nothing's weighing him down. But here's the thing. Appearances can be deceiving. In videos, he was charming, energetic, and his speech was quick, flowing, and full of life. There was no hesitation in his voice. You could tell this was a man who was in control of his own narrative. He was living his best life, or at least that's what he wanted the world to think. But something was off. Something just wasn't right. And the deeper you look, the more you start to see the cracks. Then, as time went on, something changed. Peter's energy started to shift. I don't know if you've ever noticed this before, but sometimes you can just see when someone isn't the same anymore. And that's what happened with Peter. One of his later videos really stood out. It was like night and day. The bright, confident man from the first video was gone, replaced by someone who seemed drained, His shoulders were slouched, his smile was barely there, and when he spoke, his words were slow, measured, like he was struggling just to get them out. It wasn't just the tone, his whole body language had changed. Instead of standing tall, he was hunched. He wasn't making eye contact the same way, and when he did, it was almost like he was avoiding it. He looked defeated. It was clear something had happened, something that was eating away at him. So, what happened to Peter? How did he go from this confident, jolly, happy guy to someone who couldn't even look you in the eye? Well, here's where it gets interesting. It's about fear, the kind of fear that creeps into your life and changes everything without you even realizing it. In my personal opinion, Peter had found himself in a relationship that started out great. He was with a woman who made him feel safe. She was the kind of person who promised stability, someone he could rely on, and she told him all the right things. At first, it felt like freedom, like everything was in balance. She told him that he could keep his girlfriends, but he had to leave the other girl that he loved. You see, he loved two girls and the rest less. And so he made a decision to choose the woman that promised him more financial security. He told the other girl, and so he thought he could still have his other girls for fun, a kind of having his cake and eating it too situation. But it seems she was playing the long game. You see, it wasn't just about love, it was about control. At first, she told him it's fine to date those other girls, giving him that illusion of freedom. She let him believe that he could have the best of both worlds. But over time, the power shifted. Slowly, she worked her way into his life, and one by one, the other women he cared about were pushed out. It wasn't obvious at first. It was subtle, small changes in his life that kept adding up, making him feel more and more isolated. Here's the kicker. Peter wasn't just emotionally invested in her, he was financially invested too. The longer he stayed with her, the more entangled he became. Maybe he thought he needed her for financial stability. Maybe the fear of being alone in his older years kicked in. We all have that fear, right? The fear of being alone, of not having enough, and it can make you do some pretty questionable things. So Peter, caught up in this cycle of fear and financial security, started to lose himself. She might have made him feel like she was the only one who could offer him stability, who could help him build a life he wouldn't be able to build on his own. But in the process, she was slowly taking away his independence. Over time, the lines blurred. Was he still making decisions for himself, or was he simply living out her narrative? Let me tell you something about psychological manipulation in relationships. It's not always obvious, and it doesn't always look like you're being controlled. Sometimes it's about making you feel like you don't have any other options. That's exactly what happened with Peter. She played on his fear of loneliness, fear of not being enough, and eventually he stopped seeing things clearly. His self-worth became tied to her, and his fear of being alone was so deep that he couldn't break free. It's crazy when you think about it, but the longer you stay in a relationship where you're dependent, emotionally, financially, whatever it is, the harder it is to see the truth. Peter was a prisoner of his own choices, trapped by the things that once seemed comforting but had now turned into chains. So here's the lesson. If you're in a relationship or you're thinking about getting into one, ask yourself, are you with someone because they make you feel secure, or are they making you feel trapped? Independence is key. Self-worth is key. You can't rely on someone else to make you feel whole. And you especially can't settle just because of fear of being alone, fear of being financially unstable, or fear of not being enough. Peter should have kept his independence. He should have trusted his gut when he started to feel like something wasn't right, because no matter how good the illusion looks on the outside, if it's not real, it's going to break you down eventually. Don't let fear make your decisions for you. Don't let anyone take your freedom from you, because at the end of the day, you're the one who has to live with those choices. Peter learned the hard way, but maybe you won't have to. What do you guys think about this story and Peter's future?
Artificial love, we just make it up, 'cause reality will never be good enough. And even if it was, we just mess it up, 'cause we already lost, addicted to the